Hey everybody, Dan King here. Well, guess what? Walter came back again. And I honestly lost track how many times he dramatically exited the manosphere. Goodbye, everyone. And he's dramatically reemerged. It's like the fourth time. Walter, you can't, if you have a television show and you keep on ending with the season finale, and then a week later, it's like the brand new season, and at the end of that episode, it's the season finale. Eventually, your audience is like, what's going on? This is the same show. So it's the same show. And Wally, you fucking baffle me. Because your last post, I'll put it up above me. In your last post, I'll just put the bottom part of it. Excuse me, I just had Popeyes. You guys have Popeyes by you? So good. Anyway, in that last post, he's like, oh, this is too much. Oh, the thing I saw, what Slippery did with my baby mama's picture was too much to comprehend. I couldn't even, and when other people, they actually, they have the nerve of listening to the bullshit I say and then dissecting it, it hurts my feelings, and it's too much, and I thought this was a place for manly men to be friends, and I cannot, and I will not, I shall not. And it was a big dramatic goodbye, but in it you're just like, these men have won, consider that you've won, are you happy? I'm going away. And me and Slippery are like, that'll alert him, no. And now you're just like, I won, how does it feel to be a big loser, Slippery and Dan Queen, blah blah blah. Dan Queen like, oh boy, I've never heard that before, Wally. You're like a child. But it's like, you lost, and you lost so dramatically. Like, it wasn't even like, good game, we're playing chess. I hate even saying it's chess, because it was checkers. I mean, it was a fucking dumb game. Wally kept saying 4D chess. In my mind, it was the thing Star Trek, Spock would play. 3D chess is what Spock would play. And that's what, in my mind, every time Wally said that. But 4D is like something, I think he gets it from Trump. They used to say Trump, when Trump would do some baffling thing, they would be like, oh, well, he's playing 4D chess. He's ahead of everybody. He's ahead of the curve. So that was, in case you're wondering, the origin of why I say 4D chess. When Wally first sucked me into his world, he was like, and I went to the cops and I did all the stuff. What's next move? 4D chess. Like he was ahead of me. And again, I just obliterated him in this game we're playing. But now he's just like, I won that game. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this, Wally. Like I said, like we were playing checkers. And it was like, you're like, I'm playing against a 6-year-old, and you're looking at the board, and you make a move. And then I look at you, and I'm like, hop, 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 all the pieces done. That's how, and then you, like, flip the board and, like, went in your room and put a gun in your mouth. Like, that's how dramatically you lost the 4D chess game that you initiated with me. But it's like as if that kid came out of the room, checkers are still on the floor because the little kid flipped the board. And he's like, I won that game. And I'm just, as an adult, I'm like, little Billy, okay, you won. Sure, if it makes you feel better. So, I guess you're setting the pieces again because it's all, your last video, I got an hour into it. I can't get into it at all. And it's the same stuff. You you're talking about like Slippery's wife, and like her physical appearance, and what you're gonna do with your dick to us, or what gross things you're gonna scrape off your body and put in a jar. And it's like, dude, you did that bit. In fact, a couple times you would say something gross, and then you would pause and be like, humor, the jokes, everyone. It's like, dude, if you're, like as a comedian, like I'm not a comedian, but like a comedian would tell you, like if you have to tell a joke and then go, that was a joke, everybody, like you bombed, you fucking lost the joke. And again, like I've seen you multiple times, well, you'll be talking to your trolls, not talking to your trolls, talking to your pals in some thing, And you're just like, oh yeah, the thing I do to my trolls and my nipples and breast milk and I'll shit and not wipe my ass and my dick and my smegma, and your audience is like, ugh. Like, and you're just waiting for the raucous laughter. Oh, this Maga Man, he's a fucking hoot, and no one fucking laughs. You know who makes people laugh, Wally? Virtual Wally makes people fucking laugh, boy. I'll put some of, there's a scene I watch repeatedly when I, as Virtual Wally, I ask you guys if there's gonna be a blaze, and they say they don't know, and I say, I'll do it, and they fucking laugh, because that was the shit that got you in your fucking hole. I love watching that. And that's the part that makes you fucking lose your mind, because again, so dramatically, you lost the battle. You used to go on trolling trolls and be like, let me tell you about Dan King. If I see him, I'm going to punch him in the face and my breast milk and my shit from my asshole and my smegma. And they're like, And the irony, oh, is that, you talk about dramatic, Wally, then I'm allowed on that channel. And you're like kicked off because you're such an asshole. And I'm on that channel. And I'm on that channel doing you. And your pals are laughing at the virtual version of you. Oh, is that irony? That's something, I don't know. But boy, fucking what a fall, Wally. That used to be your channel. Those are your guys, you know, they're your boys. You always possess everybody. And I just fucking, like made them laugh and laughing at you. And that's what, every time I do Virtual Wally, I think if I do a video and I talk, it doesn't bother you. But when I'm flirting with your pals and we're getting along, and you know that they're talking to me behind the fucking scenes, oh, you just fucking burn up. And, like a dummy, you don't fucking ever, like refuse the opportunity to tell your trolls what irritates you. In your last video, I love it because we're so in your head. Oh my God, every other fucking sentence. Like you'll show some video. I watched one, it was a video of like some white dude in his basement. And he's telling the audience how racism isn't a thing. No, white supremacy, that's not a thing, says the white guy in his basement. He's like, you know, it is racist. And he goes on about how white people are oppressed. And this is the shit you watch and regurgitate on the internet, as well as the Bind Boy video, which once again, everybody, I will link Wally's racist rant below. You know, his slick edit that's taken out of context or whatever. And you're just like, oh, people say I'm a racist. That's just bullshit. Well, you can't just say, I'm not a racist, and it goes away. Which I think you're learning. I was watching Tru Sherm last night. You did this the worst possible time, Wally, because I was driving. I couldn't stop what I was doing to listen to your rants. I saw all the chat. Oh, there's a lot of chatter on my phone. Wally's back. And I see the messages go scrolling by, but I couldn't read them. So when I got home late last night, I was trying to catch up. But then I was like looking at some other message. I was talking to another MGTOW pal of yours, which was giving me his opinions of you. All this stuff would burn you up, Walter. Just know that I'm talking to your pals. But I am, and I do. And, you know, your shit you were still going. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and you were still going. You were in the background. And I was chatting with this guy, a MGTOW guy. And we're we're kind of talking about you, but every now and again you say something gross. I'm like, oh, he just did another gross thing, LOL. Like, it's not funny. And, oh, we were talking specifically about, like, how you're always homoerotic. And as we're talking about it, you're like, they could take my dick and put my dick, and I'll do a thing with my dick, and let me tell you about it. It's just like, we're laughing our asses off. Wally, you're a man. You know, this is the guy who has super straight on his bumper. Bumper sticker. I'm super straight. And like you've told the audience how you haven't gotten laid since babymomma kicked you out because you're saving yourself for babymomma. And that was late June 2016. How many, 6 years we're pushing on now? 5 years? So Wally hasn't gotten laid in 5 fucking years. And every other sentence when he's mad at his trolls is, I'm gonna take my dick and I'm spread my ass cheeks and I'm gonna fuck that guy in the mouth. It's like, you are so frustrated, man. No wonder you bought a rubber pussy. And no wonder you're looking at gay sex toy sites to send me. Anyway, jump around. I was talking to your pal Tru Sherm. Excuse me again. I had Popeye, so I'm like picking chicken out of my teeth. Anyway, I was talking to Tru Sherm, and not talking to him. I was watching his video, and I didn't even realize it. But apparently, a few days ago, he made a video. It was like Tru Sherm versus Maga Man, and he's pissed at you. And like, here we are. Like, I remember early on, I said, I was like Tru Sherm years ago, where I was like trying to patiently talk to you because I know that you're a damaged fucking person. So I'm trying to talk to you like and he did the same thing because he's a fucking nice guy. And he's trying to be patient with you. But even Tru Sherm, who seems like a reasonable fucking dude, you pushed him and he's got to make our video and tell you the fucking score. And in that video, he's like, dude, you get upset about these fucking trolls. Like, who cares? Like, stop feeding them. And that's his wisdom that he took his time out and made a thing to bestow on you. And what do? Your video is just like, Slippery and Dan Queen, and they don't bother me. They don't bother me at all. And let me talk about politics. Look at how awful New York is. And New York, and if they come for me, I got my guns. But I digress. Humor, huh? Anyway, let me talk more about this video. And if those guys, Star Wars guys come, I'm going to get them. And Star Wars is dumb. And anyway, let me talk like you're so... Bleh. And I love it. I don't care. I want you to fucking just go crazy in your fucking skull. Because you're a miserable fuck and you started shit with me and I'm still fucking mad at you. Every time you get quiet, I do feel a little bad. It works. Your bullshit still works on me, Walter. There you go. There's a little kryptonite. When you shut the fuck up, I feel bad. But then you come back and you're, oh, Dan Quinn, Slippery's wife is funny looking and he's in his teeth. Like, dude, like, again... Let's go through the shit I talk about. This is why you won't talk to me. This is why you gotta be a creepy guy and make fake accounts. Which, like, because you're a dummy, I've exposed your fake accounts, like, a dozen times. But it's you when you have to, like, say a little threatening thing. Oh, boy, you're gonna be famous in the news. But you won't talk to me directly because I will ask you the tough questions. Again, a 4-hour video. Maybe you talk about it in the other 3 hours that I didn't fucking get to yet. But I accuse you of, like, you committed suicide a dozen times. You pulled on the heartstrings of the Star Wars guys. Constantly, repeatedly, over the course of a year. And that's why they got sick of you. Talk about that. That's a reasonable reason why all the Star Wars people hate me. I laid it out. I took the time out to explain to anyone who gives a shit, the 4 people that are watching this shit. And you're just like, they're jealous, and they're my dick in their ass, and they are jealous, and I repeat, broken record. Talk about how you committed suicide 12 fucking times, and everyone reached out for you, and then they got sick of your shit. Talk about that. Talk about when you go to the hospital, I'm sad, and you'd waste resources, the thing that pisses off Dan. I'm sick. Hypochondriac bullshit. Next day, somehow you made it through. Talk about that. Talk about, I'm realizing, one of the things I was talking about last night with this person on, once I got home, about Walter, MGTOW guy, I kind of forgot about it, but like when I talk about the WinterCon business, today is, happy Star Wars Day, everybody. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. It's kind of geeky, but it's becoming a thing. I saw it was like on news channels. It's like, oh, today's May the 4th. So, Wally hates Star Wars now. In fact, he started his video, again, like when he shoots like Star Wars shit in his house. He's like, I'm gonna really stick it to the Star Wars guys. He puts a video where he's like, in his mind, he's like, oh, they're just gonna be like they're just gonna be so angry, they're just gonna go to berserker frenzy and start punching out windows around them. That's in his mind. And the video that he posts, maybe I'll put it up. I'll try to put it up here. This will be a first. I'll try to put a moving video up in the corner here using Hit Film Express. Great software, everybody. Although you need a real computer. Wally, I don't think you could run this software on your shitty used computer. But anyway, so you saw the video that I put. Like, that's why. And again, what is it? It's a sexual thing. It's like, there's a guy with a Darth Vader hat and he's masturbating. That's gonna really. You know what I'll do after I do that? I'll tell Slippery that his wife's ugly, and then I'll talk about my dick for another 5, and that'll humor, jokes day. Like, you're bombing, buddy. No one's laughing at you. But, you know, you'll do that, and that you know, that'll infuriate you guys. So I lost track. Oh, Star Wars Day. The thing I want to talk about. So, WinterCon. I love talking about WinterCon because it triggers Wally. So I'm triggered him right off the bat. WinterCon, Wally. WinterCon. And in that, Wally talks about it. That was like his show back in the day. He like organized it. He reached out to the guy running it. And what WinterCon was, it was a weekend of a convention, and it was a comic book kind of convention. It was small in scale compared to the big ones, but it was in Queens somewhere. And we the Star Wars guys got a table, so when you walk around, there's a table and there's information, and our guys were there in costume. And Wally put like, apparently, he always talks to me, he's like, I spent all this money to do this thing. And like, the gag is, like, Wally, there's a guy pulling up right next to me. I love it when people pull right up next to me in an empty parking lot, and I'm talking to myself on the camera. Self-conscious. Anyway, so, like, yeah, it was a convention, and Wally spent a lot of his own personal money, and he's always like, I spent all this money. Nobody asked him to spend this money, but I think in his mind, he's like, I'm gonna prove to the Star Wars guys, because at this point, he was kind of rubbing everybody the wrong way. It was almost like if he bought all the MGTOW guys pizzas. Like, I bought a pizza party, and you guys have to like me again. So I think that's what Wally was going for. So anyway, WinterCon, and he bought, like, there was an elaborate set, like the trash compactor set, you know, Star Wars when the walls close in and the garbage is rolling around. I may have to move, because of course these assholes pulled up next to me, and they're just looking at me, and they're looking at the phone, looking at me. Anyways, Wally put all his money into the Star Wars thing. And, so he was, like, under a lot of stress, you know, and then that's when the security guard dropped his helmet, his Darth Vader helmet, damaged it, and Wally got so angry, and everyone saw it, and later on, he got a 6-month ban because of his reaction to the security guard, and Wally, of course, was like, I was totally in the right to do what I do, and he wasn't, but he doesn't believe anybody. But also what happened that day, Wally finally did get in costume, and I guess the stress of the day was building up, and he dramatically fell over in his Darth Vader costume, and he shit his pants. So I do feel a little bad, because I do think he had some kind of panic attack, and Wally's even talked about it. Like, he doesn't say he shit his pants. He'll be like, and the Star Wars guy, I had a, you know, reaction, and I lost control of my body, and that's how he phrases it. But he shit and he's in a Darth Vader costume. So I don't know if you're not familiar with the Darth Vader costume, but underneath the helmet and the armor and the cape and everything, guy next to me, fuck that guy. Anyway, underneath that, there's like a leather onesie. It looks like something that you'd put like a 2-year-old in before he went to bed on a cold night. It's like, you know, it's one piece, and I think there's a zipper in the back in it, but it's leather. It looks like some kinky leather thing, padded leather, and that's what Darth Vader has underneath everything. So that's what Wally shat up when he fell over. And they had to carry Darth Vader to the bathroom and help Wally through. And then Wally went to the hospital. And this is in the middle of the convention that he set up. So he went to the hospital and proceeded to do his, I'm in the hospital, Star Wars guys. Look at me on the phone. Here I am in the hospital. This fucking guy, man. Who does that? Who pulls the parking lot? I cannot stress how the parking lot is empty. And he's right next to me. So Wally, he passes out, and he goes to the hospital, and he's doing his like, oh, hi, guys. I'm waving at, hi, everybody. I'm sick. But meanwhile, everyone at all of a sudden, the Star Wars guys at the convention, they all had to be like, all right, Wally set all this shit up, and he's in the hospital, so like, somebody had to go get the keys, or they broke into his car, and then everyone broke that folding chairs and all this shit, all the sets and all the tables. They had to break that all down. And so that was another thing that rubbed everyone the wrong way. But Wally, of course, being Wally, was like, I was a sick guy, and you should feel bad. Even mentioning the fact that you had to alter your plans that evening and break down all this shit. You were just planning on going home and then spending time with your family. But then you had to stop what you're doing And because I had a panic or whatever the fuck was wrong, I had a mental breakdown at the middle of the fucking convention. And again, this is like the 15th or 16th time people have seen Wally go, oh, goodbye, everyone, dramatic, I'm sick, oh. And surprise, Wally made it through that. The next day, he got out of the hospital. Oh, thanks for everyone to and this is the 5th time he's like, thanks for reaching out for me. But everyone was pissed because they had to fucking pack up his shit. But anyway, I thought I'd share that story to annoy Wally and embarrass him because he shit his Darth Vader costume. Oh, and the thing that made me laugh is shortly after that, Wally's life fell apart because he allegedly strangled his girlfriend. And they threw him the fuck out. And then Wally was selling everything on eBay because he was getting booted and he was trying to generate money, I guess, to move or whatever. And one of the things he sold was the shitted up Darth Vader fucking onesie. And I remember the Star Wars guys years ago when we're like, well, like while he's selling his Star Wars costume, it's like we wanted to comment, be like, hey, anyone who's interested in this, a man shit his pants in it, so you should not buy that Darth Vader costume. So I would add that to the little Star Wars story in celebration of Star Wars Day. May the Force be with you, Wally. And another thing, to embarrass Wally, I think he took this video down. But I meant when I was talking about, there was another video where he talks about when he was living with babymomma in the house. And he also, I didn't know this until he told me, because you tell everybody everything, Wally. Wally was like homeless for a while, and his babymomma's family took him in. So imagine that. You take in this big, giant, like, homeless guy, and he proceeds to impregnate your daughter twice, unmarried, and embarrass himself at every opportunity. I remember Wally used to post pictures about, like, he'd go to, like, some Christmas party, the family Christmas party, and there's her family, and they're all there, and everyone's dressed up the way you think you'd be dressed at a Christmas party, and then Wally's, like, in a Star Wars thing, and a fedora, and a Mason thing, and a soccer patch, and it's fucking logos and shit, and everyone's just like, and a hat. That's the pom-pom hat. And everyone's just like, dude, put on a collared shirt. I'm sure your girl was like, Walter, we're going to see my family. Can you put on, just one day, can you put on a stupid, like, fucking, like, a Christmas sweater? No, I will not be silent. You dress with a thing. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, what I'm getting at, it's they took Wally in, and that was Wally was living in his house. And he totally blew up the whole situation, and I'm moving from this guy. So, the whole situation blew up, and, he took Wally in, they took Wally in, and it's the guy's house. And then when Wally got thrown out, and what did Wally get thrown out for? He got thrown out because the guy who owns the house, Wally, like, allegedly strangled his fucking daughter. And Wally can't imagine why this would get a person thrown out of the house. Like, Wally, flip the script, man. What would you do? Your daughter's older. She brings in some homeless guy who, after you bring him in, it's obvious he has mental fucking problems. And every other night they're screaming at one another. And one night it blows over. He gets drunk down at the local pub and fucking pushes your girl to the ground. Maybe he strangles her, maybe. But, like, do you think the strangling even mattered at that point? Of course, you'd throw the fucking homeless bum out of your fucking home, Walter. But anyway, what I would keep forgetting to do, I'll try to find a clip of it, is Wally made a video about this guy, the father, the guy who was like, okay, let Wally into my home and let him fuck my daughter. Okay, that dude, Wally, of course, made a video about that, how awful that guy is. And most of Wally's videos is his dumb face, and he's talking about his shit. But in this particular video, Wally was doing like a PowerPoint thing. In other words, it was a sad, tinkly music, like generating the sympathy, and it was just words on the screen fading in and out. And if memory serves, it was a build-up to, like, I'm gonna show you the most shocking, infuriating text message you ever seen about how this awful man, he broke up our relationship. Wally kept using this term, isolation of affection. I think I looked it up, and I think he was using it incorrectly. But he was saying, oh, this awful guy, this son of a bitch was actually actively trying to keep me away from his daughter, the daughter that I impregnated twice, never married, and probably got drunk and abusive with frequently in the house. That son of a bitch was trying to separate me from her. Yeah. Again, Wally, you're always on the wrong side of the fucking hour. Like, nobody's sympathizing with you. But anyway, in that video, if I don't know if I have it, but if I do, I'll put it above me, right above me here. In that, he puts, the text message is, I should have had build up before. Maybe I'm not going to put anything above me because I didn't explain it yet. In this text message, he was building up to like how this man kept, and he's still keeping me from her, even though, you know, she wants nothing to do with me, and we went to court, and they got a restraining order, and I'm not allowed to see the kids. But even after all that, she still doesn't, he's still keeping her from me. So the whole thing is he's trying to show the audience how he's trying to communicate with this man, and he just won't communicate. He's such a son of a bitch. He's isolating the affection from me, Walter Maga Man. So then it comes time for the dramatic text message. Here it is. And the text message is, it's a screenshot from Wally's phone. And again, this is to prove how Wally is a victim. And it's like 7 or 8 texts from Wally being in caps like, where's my wife? Where's my kids? Where are they? I need to speak to them. Where are they? And the timestamp is like they're 10 minutes apart. And sandwiched between all these texts is this like man's like very misspelled, I think English is a second language to this guy, the father. And he's like, stop harassing me and my family. And then it's Wally, you get back, talk to me, you have to let me, but again, this is the man who's sending harassing texts, posting this message. I'll put it up again, if I even put it up the first time. And that's Wally. That's Wally's stepdad. I don't know what the girl's father in the middle there, surrounded by Wally's harassing, constant fucking text messages. And I meant to put that in my old video, so just imagine I did that when Wally was like, "I'm this victim in all this." I don't know why I was kicked out of the house. So I think that's it. I just wanted to like embarrass Wally on Star Wars Day and acknowledge that I kind of watched some of your videos. But Wally, it's the same video, man. Like you just reset, you're just like, oh, the game is still on, Dan Queen. Even though I lost in the most dramatic way possible and put up a white flag in the form of a text message that said, you won. And I'm back, fuck the trolls. I blamed MGTOW in the wind. MGTOW in the wind, I remember watching while he wasn't on, and you were like, you know, the one thing I like about Maga Man is if he sees something he doesn't like, he just goes on the attack. And Wally, in his recent video, he's like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm just attacking Wally guy. I just go on, if I see injustices, I just go, I never, and again, you're just this big retarded shark, munching away, chomping away at like something made out of metal and it's destroying your face. And you're just like, I'm on the attack. So you do it again. God damn it, MGTOW in the wind. Don't encourage the crazy people, MGTOW in the wind. Anyway, Walter, we all know what's going to happen. You're going to get on your high horse and start talking about how bad I am. And then I'm going to be on Trolling Trolls. Guess what? I get invited to that fucking show, by the way. FYI. And I'm going to appear on Trolling Trolls and do Virtual Maga Man. And I'm going to change my shirt and put on some relevant stuff on your stupid soccer jersey. And you're going to watch it, and instead of popping in and defending yourself, because you know you never want to be in the same chat room with me, because I will bring up shit that you can't fucking hide from in your house, behind your couch, in your castle doctrine with the fucking wall up. And you'll actually have to, like, answer some questions. But I imagine you just talk over me the whole time and tell me what you want to do with your dick and which body part of mine you want to put it in. Because that's where you go every time. You might be a gay man, Walter. You haven't had sex in a long time, and you keep on talking about doing things with your dick to me. I don't know why I'm whispering. The other thing I wanted to mention is, fun fact, the other day I was in Florida. I was visiting family, and like I have money and I could do things like travel, Walter. So I was on a plane and I went to Florida. But on the way back, I stopped in Charlotte, North Carolina. We were only there for 45 minutes. We had to go from one terminal to the other. But I actually got a picture. Maybe I'll put it up. I stood in front of a store. I was looking, like, trying to find something that said I was in Charlotte, that I could make a quick video, but it was crowded and we didn't have time. And I really don't want my girl to see what a lunatic I am. But anyway, I was in Charlotte. And on the way back, I had this dumb fantasy. Because in your new video, you were talking about, like, oh, you're such a insane. I love it. You're so insane. You try to talk about your stuff, and you're just like, yeah, and the liberals in New York, and New York is on fire, and if they come for me, I'm going to, and I have guns in the thing, and castle doctrine, and you go to this whole thing about how we're coming to your house, and if you see us across the way, and even if you're near my car, I can defend my car, and I have my gun, and you've done this 1,000 times. Like, Walter, that fantasy is not going to happen. It's not going to be me and Slippery waving at you 10 feet away from your car, and you're going to go, oh boy, pop, 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 pop. And even if it did, we would just make a shield, like in your tutorial video, and we would just be protected from your less lethal, and nothing will happen. And maybe we'll have real weapons, because we're not insane people, and we can carry real firearms. And I'm sure I can stand my ground, and Crazy Walter, and I can make a case. But anyway, you always make this thing, if you come near my house, I can shoot you. So I had this fantasy in my mind. I'm like, maybe I'll put like a little package together, and I'll go to the building management office. Wally lives in like it's like little complexes of building. Wally, I don't have to prove I know where you live, because I called the cops on you when you tried to kill yourself. So obviously I know where you fucking live. But Wally lives in a little complex, there's little buildings, when you rent one or whatever, 2 stories. But I had this idea, I'm like, maybe I'll put a package together. I'll put Wally's videos on a little USB stick, and I'll stop by Charlotte, and I'll go to the business office there. Just because I can imagine Wally will lose his mind. It'll be like that meme that they have with the woman that's like, she's calculating the symbols in her head. Like, you'll be like, okay, I don't live at the building management office, but this is where I live. And he's not at my apartment, but he's talking to the landlord, and he's trying to get me evicted. And if I let him go, he may actually, but is that castle doctrine? I don't know. Maybe if I drive my car and park it by him, he'll be close enough. And then I can, like, I'll see you, you'll have to like Google it. If I go to not where you live, not the house, but like the building, if I want to rent a unit and I want to speak to somebody, I'll go there and I'll tell you, Walter, I'm at the building management, just to see what you do. It's not happening, Walter, I'm not coming for you. But I thought that would be a good little conundrum for Walter to fucking like rattle around in his brain, if he's allowed to shoot me with a fake gun if I talk to his landlord in person. To defend, because, again, it's not your home, but I'm defending because you may be kicked out if I talk to him. And again, not by fraudulent means, Wally. Just be by, hey, by the way, landlord, just so you know, no opinions, look at what your guy does in his apartment. Just watch that, and I'll leave now. And they could, as adults, they could form an opinion of if what you do in your apartment is fine, because you're pals with the fucking landlord. I think that's all I wanted to say. Wally, please don't ever stop. I love doing these videos. I think of a million things to talk about. I can't wait until I'm on Trolling Trolls and you watch it and you cry because all your pals are telling you. They're all laughing. Or maybe I'll just appear. Just Dan King chatting with you guys like I did with Tru Sherm and some of the other guys. Just chat, like pop on in, Wally. But instead you're like, I thought they liked me. I told you not to talk to them. I thought the manosphere was about me and mine. That's how it's going to end. And then 2 weeks later, you'd be like, I won! Ha-ha! Checkmate! So I'll be here for you, Wally. And don't worry, when you do commit suicide, I will vigilantly call the police on you again. And I will save your life, and you can thank me afterwards. So, Dan King, signing out. So happy the game is on again. The game is afoot. And I'll see you guys later. Bye! Hey, me again. So I forgot to mention something I was going to mention. In a celebration of May the 4th, Star Wars Day, I dug up my original, like I guess my not, it wasn't my interaction with Walter, but it was the first time Walter was like on the map for me. And I talked about it in my very first video, where Walter would commit suicide on Facebook in the form of like a post like, I'm just going to jump off the ledge, I don't care. And then he would sit back and wait for people to communicate with him, because that's his thing. He loves to blow up and then wait for everyone to be like, are you okay? Are you fine? And it pisses, because that was, I fell for it. And at the time, I never met the man. I just became Facebook friends with him, because that's what you do when the new guy joins the club. And maybe it was like a couple weeks into our Facebook friendship when he posted this thing. So what I'll put on the screen, I'll put it over here. This is I'll cover up the names because Wally will go crazy if he sees the names. But this was, Wally did the Goodbye Crew World, and this was me making a chat group with a bunch of people, and I reached out to everyone. I saw that he went to an event with people, and I reached out to them. I'm like, hey, there's a new guy, and you can see what it says. And this was everybody's response. Because I want also Wally to see this shit and show him that, like, you know, he's always like, where are the Star Wars guys? They're the Star Wars guys, Wally. There they are. That's us reaching out to you the first time you did this shit. And fun fact, it was, even though it was the first time for me, a couple people on that chat was like, he's already done this. So you were already fucking pulling on the heartstrings with your bullshit and exhausting everyone with your crap. And I remember one of the names on there, I forget who it was, but Wally's the original thing he was doing, I kind of remember now. I couldn't find it because it's like it disappeared when Wally left Facebook. But it was someone in Wally's life, probably his baby mama, was like, enough with the Star Wars, because Wally had like whatever limited income he had, and you know, he had like a baby, he had like a young daughter and a baby on the way, and he's probably spending all his money. Darth Vader's a very expensive costume. It's a few $1,000s, even for like a mediocre costume, like he had. Wally thinks he had it was a mediocre at best, Wally. But still a lot of money to put together. And, you know, he was probably buying all the swag, because he has to have every piece of swag of everything ever in the history of anything. And he was doing the shit with the toys. So I think he got yelled at by his baby mama. I'm speculating. Who knows what happened. But his Facebook post was, fine, I'll just get rid of all my Star Wars stuff. I don't care. I'm just going to go on the curb and throw all my Star Wars stuff on the curb. And maybe afterwards I'll throw myself in front of a bus. And maybe I'll just kill myself, maybe. And I was like, holy shit. Because in my text message, you'll see, I'm like, Wally mentioned he wants to get rid of everything. And one of the guys in the chat was like, oh, he's throwing everything out? Do you have his address? I'll pull up in my car. So I just wanted to show the audience that. And I wanted to do it for two reasons. One, because it's going to infuriate fucking Walter. And two, I want to do it because Wally's always like, where were the Star Wars guys? You were never there for me. You know, when you weren't busy being jealous of me. Where were you? Like, Walter, that's where the Star Wars guys were, asshole. We were there for you. You were like, I need attention, and I was like, hey everyone, give Walter attention. But you know what? You get to do that a couple times in your life, Wally. But you did it a billion times, and you exhausted the Star Wars people, and that's why they were sick of your shit. Because of that, repeatedly. 14 versions of that. And like, and then you're always like, you should forgive and forget. But more especially, you should forget what a whack job I am, and react the same way every time I go, oh, goodbye. And you're doing the same shit with the Manosphere. How many times have you said, goodbye, Manosphere, and then be like, I'm back, Manosphere? Like how many times? Like, I mentioned Tru Sherm made a video. Tru Sherm's getting fed up of your, dramatic exit, dramatic reappearance, dramatic exit. Like, you're exhausting everybody. How many times do you think Plastic in the Tree is going to send you $30? Before he realizes, oh, maybe this guy is doing this just to get $30. That's what he's doing. Plastic in the Tree, stop. So yeah, Walter, that's, happy, may the force be with you. That was my first interaction with you. Oh, and if you notice, if Walter's gonna, the other reason I wanted to put it is because Walter's gonna spend the next, week trying to figure out, you know, because I covered up the names, who said what, and go after him. Because instead of a normal person, Walter, instead of going, oh man, this is embarrassing, my worlds are colliding, Dan King is showing the nonsense I did 6 years ago that I'm still doing now, oh, how embarrassing. That's not how you're going to go, right, Walter? In your mind, you're like, who's user number 7? Who's sick? Oh, there's a guy. I remember, because I don't have it in front of me, but a guy was like, hey, you know, we should keep an eye on this guy because, you know, we're around children and this guy's a little fucking unhinged and we should keep. So right now, Wally's going, oh, that's how it started. Even back then, they said I couldn't be around kids. It's like, yeah, we thought you couldn't be around children, Walter. And guess what? Not too much long later, you get arrested for endangering the welfare of a child. So we were right. But yes, I wanted to show that to get fucking under Wally's skin since he wants to poke and prod again. I'll play the game. I don't care. Maybe I'm into S&M. I like hitting you and you like taking the abuse. And we all know how this is going to end with you crying and saying, stop, please stop, and then threatening to go to the press and the police because I'm such a horrible guy, even though you antagonize me at every fucking turn. So I'll set up the checkers again and we'll go. See you later. Bye.